That's the pitboard then of Chaz Beale, the second race of the BSN Superstock 600s with us. We're just going to walk over to Chaz now. He has no idea I'm about to go and speak to him, but he's been having a fantastic weekend so far. Here he is, number 94. Wet tyres are very much on. Chaz, looking forward to a good race?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the wet, but it paid off in the last one, so hopefully we can go a bit better.
Well, there you go, Chaz Beale then. He's about to go out. Robin, I'll pass over to you.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yes, Chaz Beale looking superb all weekend. Great qualifying. He qualified second and had a great ride through to a podium place earlier on. We'll see. Now then, this Bike Sport News Superstock 600 Championship, it turned on its head really this weekend, Steve. We had Adam Robinson, of course, can't take part in today because of the bike failing yesterday. We've had poor old Paul Wishart sidelined by a bit of an injury, and Tom Meehan also going down in the earlier race. So a lot of the guys up the head of the championship not taking any points. It's opening it up a little.
It is, yeah, worth remembering, of course, these riders can drop around, and I would imagine Adam Robinson and Paul Wishart will be doing just that. What it does mean is they've got to be mustered at the rest of the circuits. Because, you know, only one round to drop. If you have any more mistakes this season, it could be all over. Great start for Tommy Mountain. Nick Anderson up to second position. Scott Wilson there. There's shots of the bright orange bike of Tom Meehan, and I think he'll just be nursing the bike home for points after that tumble. Again, though, Robin, Tommy Mountain out of the stalls and almost a second lead.
Yeah, absolutely immaculate start. And, of course, as you noticed on the run up the hill, the one thing Tommy Mountain doesn't have is a ball of spray in front of him. Best place to be in these conditions. The rest of them having to fight not just the very, very tricky track underneath them, but also the spray from the wheels. And some of them, well, they do take to it like the proverbial ducks to water, but others really nervous in these conditions. Campbell Park, of course, arguably the greatest bike racing track in the world. Every single corner, hill, dip, straight presents a different challenge, Steve.
Yeah, there's not many riders that will say that they don't like it. Paul Wishart might think otherwise after that tumble through Hallbends earlier, but it is a rider's circuit, and great to have it on the calendar, even though it is a little bit soggy here.
Yep, another good start from number 64, Sean Brown, on the blue Kawasaki there.
Yeah, and Curtis Wright, not number 74, perhaps getting as good a start as he did in race 1, but still, he's up into the top 6 or 7. Tom Meehan just went through there, down in about 9th, 10th, 11th, something like that. But at the front, no stopping. Tommy Mountain, Nick Anderson lining himself up for another 20 points. Scott Wilson there just ahead of Sean Brown. Sean Brown improving at each circuit we go to. Really good stuff.
He needs to stay on board and pick up some decent points to Sean. Again, was one of the fallers in the earlier race. He'll be absolutely determined to get a score here somewhere. But look at Tommy Mountain. He's tearing away at the front, but this time, Nick Anderson has got himself in the box seat, really. I think he'll probably be thinking, there's nothing I can do about Tommy Mountain. But he's clear of trouble, is Nick, having made good points earlier, finishing second. He's now in a clear second, and he's clear of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, after the opening round, I must admit, I thought Nick Anderson could be one of the championship favourites, and then he started to dip in form. But this would be a fantastic comeback for him. There's shots of Scott Wilson there going through. Chaz Beale just behind him, but at the front here, number 11, Tommy Mountain, doing exactly the same in race 2 as he did in race 1. Nick Anderson, however, coming under a bit of pressure from Sean Brown.
Yeah, Chaz Beale just off the back of that group, keeping a beady eye on him, but look at them as they tear up to the top of the mountain. Tommy Mountain out the front. There he is. Look at that gap. Now then, Sean Brown really pushing on. Nick Anderson, we saw with a little bit of a break on them around about 3/4 of a lap ago, but Sean Brown seems to have the measure of him.
Yeah, just saw shots there of Tom Meehan going through. Tom McHale was in there, but he's struggling back outside the top 10 at the moment. Across the line there, Nick Anderson in second position, just trying to hold off Sean Brown, and there's Scott Wilson currently in 4th, Chaz Beale in 5th. There is Tom Meehan alongside Tom McHale.
Yep, Tom McHale just being done there by Tom Meehan. Tom selecting the orange bike today rather than the pink one, but seems to be going equally as quick as they round Charlie's and down along Park Straight.
Second position there, Nick Anderson has just managed to gap Sean Brown a little bit. He's taken the pressure off himself, and Sean Brown yet to podium in the Superstock 600, so maybe that's on his mind.
Yep, he will be pushing as hard as he dare. They've had the earlier race, of course, in these conditions. It's not as though they're unfamiliar with the slippiness underfoot, so Nick Anderson there in second place. At the moment, his lap times good, but they're not quite as good as Tommy Mountain. Tommy keeping his concentration by pushing as hard as he can. There we see Tom McHale.
I'm surprised, you know, you're looking at number 11, Tommy Mountain here. His lap times are so much quicker than second and third. I'm surprised not backing off a little bit. There's Nick Anderson, really no threat to the leader. And in these bad conditions, you don't want to be going flat out if you don't have to.
Yeah, it's dangerous, isn't it? Well, maybe it's the way Tommy Mountain keeps his concentration. He got the win in the fastest lap in the earlier race. He's already got the fastest lap so far in this one, and he's got a handsome lead at the moment, but that rain's still absolutely hammering down, and this circuit and these weather conditions will take no prisoners. One twitch and you're out. And there we see Nick Anderson, and Sean Brown still pushing hard in third ahead of Scott Wilson there.
Yeah, Scott Wilson in fourth position, doing a good job. There's Matthew Shelcock, number 35, just making his way around Charlie's. And here's the leader again then, Tommy Mountain, local rider, number 11. Around Park Corner and into Chris Curve he goes.
Got that Yamaha absolutely beautifully set up for these conditions as well. Barely a twitch, he just needs to keep it mistake-free.
You just saw Chaz Beale going through with Curtis right behind, and there is Scotsman Matthew Shelcock.
Yeah, Matt Shelcock, who has a long run down from Oban up there on the west coast. He has to do a lot of miles for his racing, and a lot of racing miles of Cadwell Park under the belt of Tommy Mountain, and he's away at the front of this. He's got absolutely nobody to play with at the moment, so it's all about keeping that...
Oh, I think he's down. He is.
Oh, Tommy,
he's lost the front end in Hall Bends, and Tommy Mountain has lost it. And look, he's running back, and second position's only just gone through. Oh. No need to go so quick into Hall Bends there, and that's a shame for Tommy.
Oh, that is a great shame. Beautifully done, but there you are. One tiny, tiny error, and down he goes, and that's it. The end of his race, and down.
There's another rider down, and that's Dan Chappell again. He's gone down again. 2 out of 2, and well, the lever's doing their job anyway, and well, number 118 failing to finish again.
Well, Nick Anderson now, he's running it right out to the white line there, and you just don't want to take those sort of risks. But Nick Anderson has inherited that lead, Steve. These are superb championship points, but he's still got to stay on and see that flag.
He has, yeah, he's just seen what's happened to Tommy Mountain. Don't do the same yourself. Nice and easy. He's got an enormous lead now over Scott Wilson, and well, who's completely pulled away from Sean Brown now, who must be having 1 or 2 problems and maybe had a moment out on circuit.
Well, Sean could get that podium though, and we know that that's what he really wants, so maybe he's trying to take it easy, but look at that, Nick Anderson. Well, he may have lucked into it, but you've got to stay on board to get the points, and that is a great win for Nick. Yes, he'll have every bit of that. He didn't see that one coming. Yes, loves it. And a superb second for Scott Wilson. And what about Sean Brown getting that podium in third place? Chaz Beale, another good finish for him this weekend. Curtis Wright was 5th, and Michael Cooper got his triumph up to finish 6th. There we see Nick Anderson very happily between Scott Wilson and Sean Brown. And in the championship standings, well, a new leader. It's Nick Anderson now from Paul Wishart, Adam Robinson, Tommy and Tommy Mountain, and Sam Ludgate.
Nick Anderson, winner of that race. Start of the season went very well, then you ran into some bad luck, and now you're championship leader. This championship, you can't really take your eyes off it.
No, it's very, very close. It's crazy how everything sort of worked out, to be fair. We had our bad luck, and unfortunately for some others, they're having their bad luck now. So it's brought everything up very, very close at the top. So next few rounds are going to be very interesting.
It doesn't take anyone too smart to realise conditions out there are pretty tricky, but you seem to be enjoying the wet.
Yeah, I mean, I've always sort of been a fan of the wet, to be fair, but this weekend we just took a guess with the settings on the bike, so we haven't really got a setting, and this morning in free practice it worked out very, very well, and fair play to everyone in the team who sort of sorted the bike out for me, so no, it's good.
Yeah, you must have some team personnel and some sponsors to thank.
Yeah, obviously everyone at Performance Racing, my dad at NMA Flooring, Jay at JJM Joinery, Barden Concrete, Alan from there, HRS Designs, Alexandra Leisure, and yeah, RNG, they've been brilliant help, so thank you very much.
Great stuff. That's it from Thundersport Plus. From myself, Robin Murphy, and from Steve Day. We'll be back with you for more great action from Mallory Park in a couple of weeks.